Laura Berrocal here with Politic 365, and I am sitting here with Mr. Jason Llorenz. He is the executive director for the Hispanic Technology and Telecommunications Partnership. He has now been in that role for 2 years, and he is absolutely a rising star here in Washington, D.C. and across the country, in my opinion.
Thanks.
I'm very happy to have you here.
Thank you so much.
Good. So are you enjoying the events here? We're actually here at the Minority Media and Telecom Council's Broadband and Policy Summit. So we've been talking a lot about broadband policy, and Jason's group is definitely at the forefront when it comes to discussing broadband policy issues. So one of the questions that I had for you, since you've taken over the leadership role within the organization, you all have been doing a lot in the digital media, social media space. And, I'm curious to see how your advocacy efforts in those spaces are resonating with your members and with the constituents and communities that you're actually reaching out to.
Sure. So for so many reasons, we do so much more on Twitter and in social media now, because that's where communities are, right? That's where so many of the conversations even are happening, both in Washington and outside of Washington, right? So folks who want to know what's going on typically will start with social media, right? They'll start with an online search. They'll look for a conversation to join. So it's so much more important that these conversations that we tend to have right here in Washington happen on social media, happen in the social networks, because it allows us to engage people who otherwise may not have access to those conversations.
Absolutely. And I think that there's a huge benefit in what you're doing, because you really are reaching out to a younger generation, a generation that doesn't typically have access to information that's going on here in Washington, D.C., and they're not really following what's going on inside the Beltway. So this is an opportunity for them to learn about what groups like you are doing.
Absolutely.
So that they can become engaged.
And we live in an era where we see around the world that movements are happening online, and that young people are getting involved with ideas, policies, movements, dramatic changes by engaging via Twitter and social networks. So it gives us a whole new platform and a whole new way to get people involved.
Yeah, I agree. Another question that I have, we hear a lot about, and we've had several interviews where people are talking about getting more Latinos connected to the internet. And granted, that is very important, but, another question that I have for you is, Hispanics should also be involved in the production side. When it comes to the wireless industry and the growth that we're seeing, obviously we want Hispanics to also be producers, to be contributing to the growth of this industry as entrepreneurs, as small businesses. What are your thoughts around kind of getting more Latinos to be thinking about these types of things, and to not only look at broadband technology as a tool for them, but rather as a career outlet, an option for building their professional careers?
Sure. I mean, there has been no more exciting a time for digital technologies than today, right? So we're in a space now where in 2011 we spent $7 billion in the online app market. $7 billion.
Huge. Yeah.
At the end of this year, we'll spend about $14 billion. And at the end of 2015, you're talking about online apps, these things that we just spend 99 cents or $1.39 on, being a $36 billion market. Wow. Something that didn't even exist 5 years ago. Yep. So it provides opportunities for our communities to be entrepreneurs, to be developers, to be creators, right? To produce apps, make money from home, and to engage a whole new type of creativity and entrepreneurship in a new digital exciting way. So it's very, very important.
Are you thinking about creating an app?
I am, of course. It's
the way to go.
I think that teaching kids to create apps is a new vocational education.
Yeah, I've been hearing that a lot.
I think it is now the way that in a school we can get a kid to learn a skill that actually can make them some money.
Absolutely. Very interesting. So, my last question for you, when we think about all of the opportunities that the broadband industry provides to minority communities and to Latinos, as the fastest growing segment of the U.S. population, I think that now that we're kind of at the beginning of this new build out of technology, this is a great opportunity to get more Latinos engaged in this industry, where traditionally Latinos are not really in the sciences and technology. So there's a huge opportunity here. With that said, is there a specific policy that you think will really help to promote the message of broadband technology, whether it's adoption, whether it's business oriented, whether, you know, it's just a matter of getting information to communities at the state and local level. You know, what policy in particular do you think is important to really keep front and center in the next year?
I think at the state and local level, we need so much more leadership. At people at the school board, at the local level, your local county officials, to make digital literacy and inclusion of digital opportunities a part of the agenda. Mm-hmm. So there are people across the country working to make schools better. There are people across the country working to make healthcare better.
Right.
The digital aspects of that, the ways that technology can make communities healthier or help communities access things that will make them healthier, mm-hmm. and certainly the ways that technology need to be a part of the curriculum for schools has to be a part of the agenda. And a lot of times we are so focused on the issues that are sincerely big issues for us, right? The school attainment, the achievement gap in schools, that we forget that these issues around technology, getting kids access to the stuff that will make them money in the future, get them access to the global economy, get them competing, creating things, need to be a part of the conversation as well. So I would hope that on the local level, that communities would think, well, how can I get my school to have a technology program if it doesn't? Right. How can I get my county to say, you know, let's make sure that we're getting, you know, developing public-private partnerships that gets technology in the hands of real people. How can we make our schools technology centers so that we really are tooling kids for the opportunities of the future? I think technology provides some of the greatest opportunities for Latinos, African Americans, rural, poor, other disconnected communities, mm-hmm. to compete and to change their lives.
Well, there you have it. Our interview with Jason Llorenz. Thank you for your time. And if you want to get more information on HTTP, you can actually go to httponline.org. And of course, you can always visit Politic 365 for your daily dose of political news coverage. Thank you.
Thank you.